Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I'm going to deal with a few of the things that have been posted as comments because they inspire good talk about good subjects. So they're not all pleasant, of course. Some people are very upset in the comments that they make, and it is their right to do so. As if you've been following our videos for a while, you'll know that actually I don't object to people voicing their criticism as long as they don't get nasty, because I don't have a bullseye on my t-shirt or a target, and I'm not up to be anybody's whipping boy. So that said, go ahead, please make your opinion, your viewpoint known. And so now we're going to look at a few of the viewpoints that were posted in a general way, okay? And the first one, after our visit from Oni, who, because of how much we were able to do, because of his generosity, we had a lot of comments on that. We did quite a few videos. They're heart-wrenching videos because they're talking, showing how just a few bags of groceries can make a huge difference to a family here in the Philippines. So, but one of the things that I wanted to do first, I made a couple of notes so that in my aged way I won't forget them. Religion and politics. Now, we always used to say two things you never discuss: religion and politics. And boy, in the US at the moment, you're better off not to discuss politics because it's a very hot subject, which leaves religion as, in my money, according to me, a pretty hot subject anyway. Now, I posted a video fairly recently on, wouldn't it be nice if we could all simply have the tolerance to allow other people to speak differently. Now, the way that I see it is that this must be coupled hand in hand with an agreement, if it were possible, if there were an agreement that we would speak softly when we voice our opinion. I mean, for instance, there's a great deal of difference between voicing an opinion about what someone believes by saying, "Are you insane?" I love that. Somebody I know used to say that a lot. "Are you insane believing that crap?" Or saying, "Well, it's not what I believe, but I respect your right to believe what you want." Now, I could have someone saying to me that they don't think the same as I do, because, well, I'm an oddball anyway, so I accept that most people don't think in the way that I do. But that said, if they don't believe in the same way as I do, it's okay by me. You're still welcome in my house, and you're still welcome to tell me what you believe in and why, and I'll listen. Just to make a point here, when I was in, let me see, we were in Cebu with, I think, with Desiree. And when we got on one of the taxis that we got into, the man told me about his belief that the earth was flat, and that it is a sealed unit. And what it amounted to was that the stars in the sky at night were really there all the time in exactly the same configuration, and so it was a flat earth talk. What did I do? I didn't do anything. I just listened. If you listen, you learn a great deal. I haven't learned that the earth is flat, but I have learned that there is one man out there at least one man, who passionately believes that. Now, I wouldn't have found that out if I said, "Are you insane?" I just listened. And because I listened, I learned about a totally new viewpoint for me. I know about the flat earth idea, concept. I'm not going to say yay or nay on it. you know, if that's what you believe, you know, you have the right to do that. So it's better if we can just accept what people believe and respect that belief. Now, the only thing that I have on that is that if it's a religion that goes around killing people, then I'm not in favour of that. I'm not in favour of somebody getting their head severed from their body in order to prove a point about the severer and his religion. So let's keep it nice. Let's not chop anybody's head off, thank you, and let's not I don't know, bite somebody's head off because they don't think the same as we do. And the reason I bring this up was because many Roman Catholics in our subscribers are adamant that their faith is the one that they believe in. You have the right to do that, and nobody can take that right away from you, and you don't need anybody's permission. And I think that Arnie made a few comments there that offended people. Right, here's the deal. On any interview that we do, people are free to state their opinion, and it is their opinion. I mean, let's face it, on the subject of religion, on the subject of salvation, on the subject of whether you go up or down, metaphorically speaking, as we don't know whether heaven is up or whether hell is down. Because the truth is that nobody's ever made it back after they've died that can remember a thing that happened. We have some near-death experiences, and while we're on the subject of near-death experience, I will just say this. I read an account of several near-death experiences, and they all experience something different. Now here's the deal, is that these are people who clinically died. That is, their heart stopped beating and oxygen ceased to course its way through freshly oxygenated blood around the body, and clinically dead. Some of them woke up in the mortuary after they'd been wheeled down there, ready for whatever it is that they do down there. So, and then they woke up and they recounted their experience, hence near-death experience. So, what did they all have in common? Well, they all had in common that the experience of near-death, in which they died clinically, had one thing in common, and it was that they experienced and recounted the experience according to prior beliefs. In other words, somebody who was an absolute an absolute Buddhist didn't go down there and see Jesus. A Christian saw Jesus, and I'm taking it that somebody who was a Buddhist would have seen somebody else. So that's what they had there in common. So in other words, your beliefs carry through, and if you have a near-death experience, then it may well be that you reaffirm things that you have believed. And then those people have come back and recounted that experience, and they've been in good company, because there are thousands of cases of near-death experiences. So can't count it. So my little tongue-in-cheek gag there, where I said nobody's ever made it back, in a way is untrue. But just for the sake of keeping it light, that's what I said. So don't start saying I'm a pagan again, because I'm a believer, just different. So what was the other thing? Oh, old videos and new comments. Well, people often come in, and because our videos are not numbered and not, I guess, not dated or not in any kind of order, they came in and they may have looked at an old video, and somebody somebody commented and said when they saw Mananglina had been given a washing machine, and said, well, why don't you just give these people the money and let them choose what they want? What we do is we do what the person who gifts money asks us to do. We do that. It's very simple, and it's a formula that has worked very, very well, because when you give to a charity, you don't know what the heck the money goes to. You don't see anything. You may get, I suppose you get a thank you letter, unless of course you're funding a child in Somalia or somewhere like that, Ethiopia, and you're funding a child whose name you have and photograph you have, and you know that they're getting their school stuff done because of your $20 a month. So I used to do that myself a long, long time ago. I funded a kid for a while I could. So unless you look at other videos, there's no point in looking at one video and then making an earth-shattering comment, suggestion about how we can change everything that we do. We've arrived at something that works. People say, like, somebody just actually sent a gift to Nanai, and their instructions are quite clear. They said, I'm sending this money for Nanai to buy rice and groceries. Now, what did we do? Well, we gave Nanai the money, and Nanai went out with us, and she bought a bag of rice, thank you, and she bought groceries. And the rest of it she probably squandered by taking all her grandchildren out for a meal when they were in our tours. So the person that sent that, actually I think the code name was Miss Public. Miss Public sent some money. She sent the money to Nanai. Nanai received the money. We made a video of Nanai in the back of the truck, at the back of the truck, with, guess what, a bag of rice, a big bag of rice, 40 or 50 kilos, and a big box of groceries. Now, it's very easy to see that Miss Public now knows what happened to the money that she sent. And that's been our way the whole of the way, and that's how we intend to continue doing it. Okay. So, that's the give them the money comment dealt with. Alright, so I've got a little note here that's attached to the religion and politics thing, and it says, speak softly with a spoonful of sugar. And I think I've dealt with that. You can say what the heck you like, and as long as you have a little bit of tact and respect for some other person's feelings, who's going to be hurt? No one's going to be hurt, and your opinion will be heard, read, seen. So, now here's one. The thumbs down as a weapon. So, I saw one comment, a regular of ours who is very supportive of what we do, and he said, look at that, guess what, this video has only been up a day and it's got 4 thumbs down. Guess what the video was? The video was, I think, about taking the children for an outing which they had never experienced before. So all of the images, moving images, are of happy, smiling, laughing children. 4 thumbs down. I wonder what those people are thinking. Well, they're not thinking about the video because they didn't watch it. What they're thinking is, I'll give him something to think about. I'll just give it the thumbs down, and I'll do it now so that he doesn't get a view and he doesn't get anything from that. You see, it's a thumbs down as a weapon. So, Oni and his help. Oni came out for several months. He'd been here about a month to 6 weeks before he arranged to come and see us. He has been watching our videos since November. So, almost 6 months now. And he wanted to meet us. Many people want to meet us. Now, did Oni come out here and say how wonderful everything was? Actually, he didn't think that everything was wonderful. He thought that it was a bit of a hardship staying in our guest house because he had to kill a few spiders. It didn't turn out to be his scene at all. He just came out, and while he was here, we took him around to some of the projects that have meant something to us. They all mean something to us, but some have resonated more with you as subscribers, so those are the ones that we took him to. Now, what we didn't know when we said, let's take you to the first one, we didn't know that his idea of taking something, he said, well, we'll have to take something with us, won't we? And I said, well, what do you want to take with you? Now, in the past, when we took, I remember when we took other people, we took the two crazy ladies who were so much fun, and we took them, and they quietly slipped some money to the people that we visited. Stephen from Hong Kong did the same thing, very generously, and it helped. A little bit of cash always helps. Now, Oni had a different idea. He said, well, why don't we take them some food? So I said, fine, let's go, and how much food do you want to take? We said, what should we take? Well, we got a couple of trolleys, shopping baskets. We just followed him round, and he said, what should we do? Should we give coffee? Sounds a good idea to me. So he loaded a load of coffee, and what we did was we were going to see two houses, so we got two shopping carts, and everything that we put in one we put in the other, everything we put in the other we put in the one, and that's how it went. And we also took lovely May with us, who helped, and whereas in our economy, remember the one egg economy, in our economy we would take one or two, he took one or two or 10, and he loaded it. The thing was just an overload of stuff that he took, and he took it all at basics, food. We took gallons of soy sauce instead of a little pack, and then we shared that out. And if you watch the Pastor Gilbert's video, you'll see that we shared out vinegar into little sachets, and we did it like that. And emotionally, it was an extremely moving thing, especially for me, because we've been working with the families that we saw, and we knew how little they have. So that was Oni. Now, we did that to the first two, and then he said, what shall we look at next? And we mentioned, well, why don't we go and see Desiree? Why don't we go and see the three little girls? Why don't we? And he did the same thing every time. And then on the last day, the day before he left, we did that general thing of going to those barangays where we know that they don't have much. And when you're in a car and you're driving on one of these unmade roads and you're passing these very humble houses, you know when someone's not got much. Here, maybe you in the West say quite often, I'm broke, I got no money. Well, out here that has a completely different meaning. When someone says, I've got no money, it means they've got no money. And that's a hard one for anybody in the West to accept. So, may as well say that he was an incredibly generous man. And he had firm, convicted beliefs about religion, about what was right, about what should be according to the Bible. He was quite blunt when it came to talking about women preaching, because I mentioned while we were sitting there having a conversation, I mentioned, well, Lovely May is involved at the church and she actually speaks, she preaches it. And he said, well, it's against the Bible. No, that's it, there was no discussion on it. It's against the Bible. So you had to allow that here was a strongly felt conviction and an outspoken man. Put the two together and you might possibly, well, you surely will get some people who are offended. Can't apologise because that's the way the man is and that's the way he feels. And so that may explain why there were a few people who were offended. Now, what's the next thing? Well, I have to touch on Jen, who, for my money, we know Jen, so have a great admiration for her. I think that she's pretty girl, very bright, great English, and from a good family. Now, all of this combines to make someone who is a very worthwhile person. This is not a selling job about Jen, by the way. It's just because she's been mentioned a couple of times that after the first meeting and that video, and I think at the swimming pool, she and Oni were never seen together again. Well, Jen has a life and she's applying for a job, and she was supposed to go with us on one of those days and simply wasn't able to. She went with us on the swimming pool, and that's the reality of it. Did magic sparks fly? Apparently not. If they had, we'd be telling a different story right now. That's life, that's reality, and that's the simple life that we're living here. Some people meet, some people fall madly in love at the touch of a hand, and some people don't. And that's the reality. It doesn't change the quality of beingness of either person. Both people are still wonderful, and both people, in my wish, in my prayer, would be that they each meet the person who is right for them. In their view, a woman for Oni who is beautiful in his eyes and will dovetail in with his beliefs, his firm beliefs. And he will be correct, as one of our other subscribers said. Oni is right. It's difficult to be married to someone who doesn't have the same church religion as you. That's her viewpoint, and she agrees with Oni. Do I agree with that? Well, I'm married to a born-again Christian who is completely devoted to her religion. Are we happy? Yeah. Do we argue about religion? No. Do we disagree about religion? No. She calls the divine God, and I call it the divine. She calls him the Lord. I'd say the Creator. And, well, this is an old video. We just have different words for, in our mind, saying the same thing. She believes in living a righteous life. I believe that behavior is the most important thing. And this has been the belief of many people. What's the American way of saying it? talk the talk, walk the walk. In other words, be as good as your words. In other words, don't talk about how good you are. Let's see how good you are. A man is defined by his actions and by the integrity that is within his actions. And that's what I believe. And probably Beth will put it in a different way. Do we argue? No. But do we have any disagreements? No. Everything is good. And we are of different beliefs. So, depending on who you are, how firm your religious beliefs are, then you will think differently or the same. We also had comments from people who say, well, you know, one guy said, well, my wife's a Roman Catholic and I'm a pagan, so we're fine. We've been very, very happy for a number of years. So it gets down to understanding, tolerance, and simply respecting what the other person believes. And that's not preaching, or is it? I'm not quite sure. Maybe you would believe that it's preaching, and maybe you would believe that you've heard it before from the pulpit or the altar or from your pastor or from someone that you respect, your mentor. It just depends on you, and whether you can live with someone of different views depends on those few things. Being able to understand, being able to tolerate, being able to accept, and being able to respect the other's view. That's the end of my thing on this. Hope it's helped a little. Let's be out there. Let's do random acts of kindness which have an effect on our community in much, much wider way than we think. Whenever we do something for no return, we get back in abundance because we now live in a happier place. And for those people who aren't nice to other people, I wonder how you expect to be happy when you leave a trail of dead and wounded bodies behind you as you march through your life saying things as it is. I just tell it like it is. Never yet met anybody who says that could hear it told like it is by someone who likes to do the same as they. So, respect and honour other people's feelings. That's me for now. Thanks for looking in. Foreigner in the Philippines.